Welcome to the Psych Ignition. In a world drowning in noise, it's the last true form of power. It's the space where you are no longer a performer on a stage built by others, but the architect of your own reality. Look around. The world is a circus of validation. A relentless, roaring engine of social theatrics, desperate likes, and manufactured approval. Most people are running on a treadmill, chasing a finish line they didn't even choose, breathless, hoping for an applause that never truly satisfies. But there is a different breed, a quiet anomaly. They are the observers in the shadows, the calm in the eye of the storm. They don't chase the spotlight. They find it blinding. They don't crave the crowd. They find their deepest strength in solitude. They are the quiet disruptors, the Sigma males. And while the world is busy shouting, they have mastered the most formidable language of all, the power of the graceful exit, the unapologetic no, the silent, strategic withdrawal from anything that does not serve their peace, their purpose, or their core values. This isn't about arrogance. It's not about being antisocial. This is a quiet rebellion, a deliberate, conscious choice to opt out of the games you were never meant to play. It's about reclaiming your energy, your time, and your mind. So if you've ever felt the drain of constant connection, if you've ever questioned the endless race for a success that feels hollow, then lean in. What you are about to witness is not a set of rules, but a revelation, a deep dive into the code of the Sigma male and the 12 ways they redefine not caring in the most powerful and extraordinary ways imaginable. Number 1. He leaves when respect is no longer served. A Sigma male's presence is often quiet but commanding, and when respect disappears, so does he. He doesn't wait for loud arguments, passive-aggressive digs, or some dramatic fallout to confirm what he already senses. The moment someone starts treating him as less than he deserves, he checks out. Not with a scene, but with precision. To him, staying in a space where respect has eroded is a waste of energy. And energy is currency he doesn't squander. What's striking about this approach is the complete absence of theatrics. He doesn't raise his voice or demand acknowledgement of the disrespect. That's not his style. Instead, his departure is swift, clean, and almost surgical. It's his way of saying, "This doesn't work for me, so I'm out," without uttering a single word. And it's not because he's weak or avoids confrontation. It's because he values himself enough to not fight for a place where respect isn't mutual. People often notice his absence long after he's gone, and that's the beauty of it. He leaves such a significant void because his presence was never about shouting to be heard or begging for validation. It was about balance, respect, and reciprocity. Without those, there's nothing holding him. The real power lies in how calmly he lets go. There's no bitterness, no grudge to carry around. He simply recalibrates his focus and directs it toward environments and people who value him. To him, life's too short for unnecessary battles, and respect isn't something he negotiates. It's a bare minimum. Once it's gone, so is he. This unwavering standard not only protects his peace, but sets him apart in a world where many stay too long, hoping to reclaim what was already lost. This exit strategy is a core part of the Sigma's operating system. It is a pre-programmed response to toxicity, not an emotional reaction. He doesn't need to announce his departure or list his grievances because the act of leaving is the entire message. By moving on silently, the Sigma male ensures that his energy remains invested only in situations that reflect his own self-worth, making his absence a powerful lesson in boundaries that speaks volumes in its silence. Number 2. He declines invitations without explanation because he doesn't owe one. When a Sigma male declines an invitation, he doesn't wrap it in excuses or sugarcoat it with fake politeness. He doesn't explain why, and he certainly doesn't feel guilty about it. A simple no thank you is enough. This isn't arrogance or laziness. It's a deliberate choice to protect his time and energy. To a Sigma, saying yes to everything is a fast track to burnout. and he won't trade his peace for anyone's expectations. What sets him apart is how effortlessly he rejects the pressure to conform. Most people overthink how others will react when they turn something down. They agonize over whether they'll offend, disappoint, or seem rude. Not the Sigma. He knows that no one owes anyone constant availability, and he won't bend just to keep others happy. His boundaries are solid, and he enforces them without hesitation or apology. Ironically, his straightforward approach often confuses people who aren't used to such honesty. Society has conditioned us to mask our no with elaborate excuses, a made-up meeting, an imaginary emergency, or the infamous, "I'm just so busy." The Sigma doesn't play that game. His refusal is firm, but respectful, and it leaves no room for negotiation. If someone's feelings are hurt, it's not his responsibility to fix that. By declining without excuses, the Sigma does something few dare to do. He prioritizes himself in a world that glorifies self-sacrifice. This doesn't mean he's selfish. It means he knows his limits and values them. People who get it respect him even more for it, while those who don't usually fall away. Either way, the Sigma stands unbothered, carving out a life that's his own, not one dictated by obligation or fear of judgment. This practice of a clean, unqualified no is a fundamental exercise of the Sigma's sovereignty. He understands that every yes given out of obligation is a no to his own priorities and peace. Therefore, his declinations are not rejections of people, but affirmations of his own path. This consistent self-honoring builds a life of genuine engagement, where his presence always means something because it is never forced or feigned. Number 3. He ignores the spotlight, even when it's his moment, because he's over it. When it's his moment to shine, a Sigma male doesn't step into the spotlight. He steps aside. While most people crave attention and recognition, he avoids it, not out of shyness or insecurity, but because he doesn't need it. Achievements, for him, are personal milestones, not performances for others. He values what he's done, but he doesn't need the world to clap for it. The applause doesn't validate his worth. His own sense of accomplishment does. What makes this approach so unusual is how rare it is. In a culture where people celebrate even the smallest wins online, a Sigma's indifference to recognition feels almost rebellious. But for him, the spotlight can be suffocating. It comes with expectations, assumptions, and a crowd that often cares more about appearances than substance. He has no interest in playing to an audience, so he opts out. This refusal to center himself is not about humility in the traditional sense. It's about control. He knows that the moment you step into the spotlight, you give others power. The power to judge, the power to praise, and the power to criticize. A Sigma doesn't want his actions filtered through someone else's lens. He prefers to move quietly, building success without fanfare and enjoying it on his own terms. And here's the twist. His lack of interest in attention often makes him even more compelling. People notice him precisely because he doesn't demand to be noticed. His achievements speak louder than his words ever could, and his decision to stay in the background gives him a mystique that the spotlight can't replicate. For the Sigma, this isn't a strategy. It's just how he's wired. He's content letting others chase the limelight while he quietly claims the real prize: freedom from needing anyone's approval. This aversion to the spotlight is a strategic preservation of his autonomy. The Sigma male knows that public recognition often comes with invisible chains, the expectation to maintain a certain image, to top his last success, or to cater to an audience. By remaining in the shadows, he retains full ownership of his narrative and his peace, making his accomplishments purely for his own measure, which is the only measure that truly matters to him. Number 4. He wears confidence like armor, but will never weaponize it. A Sigma male's confidence is a quiet force, not a flashy display. He carries it like armor, steady and unshakable. But he doesn't feel the need to show it off. While many people wear confidence like a badge, constantly seeking recognition for their strength, the Sigma simply exists in his. It's not for show. not for others to admire. It's for himself, a private reserve of self-assurance that keeps him grounded no matter what. This approach is what sets him apart. He doesn't enter a room trying to dominate it. He doesn't have to. His presence speaks louder than any boast ever could. He doesn't need to tell you he's capable. You'll feel it. It's in the way he moves, speaks, and carries himself without effort or overcompensation. His confidence doesn't scream. It whispers, and yet it's impossible to ignore. What makes this so powerful is how rare it is. In a world obsessed with appearances where people confuse loudness with strength, the Sigma's understated confidence feels almost revolutionary. He knows that true confidence isn't about being the loudest voice or the flashiest presence. It's about knowing who you are, standing firm in your values, and being comfortable enough in your skin to not seek constant validation. And here's the kicker. His refusal to flaunt it often leaves people more intrigued. They sense the depth beneath the surface, but can't quite figure him out. This quiet mystery only adds to his appeal, making his confidence seem even more formidable. For the Sigma, though, it's never about others. His confidence is his own, built on a foundation of self-awareness and resilience. He doesn't need to broadcast it because he knows its value, and that's the ultimate flex. This intrinsic form of confidence means the Sigma male is never in competition with anyone else. His validation is internally generated, making him immune to the insecurities and comparisons that drive others. He doesn't need to weaponize his self-assurance to belittle others because his sense of worth is not contingent on being above anyone. It is rooted in a profound peace with who he is, which is a fortress that cannot be breached by external challenges. Number 5. He lets relationships fade without drama or regret. When a relationship no longer serves him, a Sigma male lets it fade quietly, without drama or announcement. He doesn't make grand speeches about why things aren't working or demand closure from the other person. To him, the natural ebb and flow of connections is a part of life, and he's not interested in forcing something that's no longer aligned. What makes this so different from the way most people handle relationships is the absence of noise. While others may cling to toxic dynamics out of guilt, fear, or nostalgia, the Sigma has no problem stepping back and letting the distance grow. It's not coldness, it's clarity. He understands that not everyone is meant to stay in his life forever, and he respects the expiration dates on connections without bitterness. This quiet detachment often catches people off guard. They expect confrontation, explanations, or at least a formal goodbye. But the Sigma sees no point in rehashing things when the bond has already run its course. For him, actions speak louder than words, and the fading effort is a clear enough signal that it's time to move on. Interestingly, this approach isn't rooted in a lack of care. The Sigma values deep connections and is fiercely loyal to those who truly matter. But he also knows the difference between relationships that enrich his life and those that drain it. When he senses the balance has tipped too far toward the latter, he steps away gracefully, without resentment or regret. By letting relationships fade naturally, the Sigma preserves his peace and keeps his circle intentional. It's not about being ruthless. It's about recognizing that holding on too tightly often does more harm than good. For the Sigma, moving on isn't a loss. It's a necessary step toward growth. This process is a quiet curation of his inner world. The Sigma male understands that his mental and emotional space is sacred, and not every connection earns a permanent visa. By allowing relationships to fade organically, he avoids the emotional toll of forced goodbyes while making room for connections that are truly reciprocal. This isn't a passive act, it's an active, conscious choice to honor his own evolution, even if it means walking a path alone for a while. Number 6. He doesn't justify his decisions because your opinion isn't on his radar. A Sigma male doesn't waste his energy justifying his decisions, and that alone sets him apart in a world obsessed with explanations, while others might feel the need to defend their choices, seeking approval or understanding. He simply makes his move and keeps going. For him, explaining himself is a distraction, an unnecessary detour that takes him further from his goals. He doesn't need to convince anyone of his logic because he trusts his own judgment completely. This approach can be jarring to those who expect long-winded explanations. People are often conditioned to think that decisions need to be validated by others, that we owe the world an explanation for every move we make. But the Sigma rejects this notion entirely. His life, his choices, his rules. He understands that no amount of justification will satisfy everyone, and he's not about to waste time trying. What makes this so powerful is how it frees him from the opinions of others. By refusing to explain, he keeps the focus on his path and avoids getting caught up in debates or doubts. His actions speak for themselves, and he lets the results do the talking. If someone questions him, he might respond with a simple shrug or a calm, "Because I wanted to." It's not arrogance, it's confidence in its purest form. This doesn't mean he's careless or reckless. Far from it. Every decision he makes is deliberate, based on what aligns with his values and goals. But he sees no need to unpack his reasoning for anyone else. The Sigma knows that trying to justify yourself often gives people the power to challenge you. By staying silent, he keeps control. His decisions are his own, and he owes no one an explanation. That's the ultimate statement of self-respect. This refusal to justify is a declaration of intellectual sovereignty. The Sigma male operates from the understanding that his internal compass is the only authority he answers to. Engaging in explanations is, in his view, an invitation for debate and a dilution of his resolve. By offering no defense, he provides no leverage, ensuring that his path remains his own, uncharted by the unsolicited opinions and expectations of the outside world. Number 7. He watches you play power games and refuses to join the board. A Sigma male has no interest in playing power games, and that's what makes him impossible to manipulate. While others get caught up in strategies, alliances, and one-upmanship, he watches from the sidelines, unimpressed. He sees the subtle moves in the hidden agendas, but instead of engaging, he lets others exhaust themselves in the struggle for dominance. To him, it's all noise, pointless, ego-driven, and beneath his attention. What's striking is how effortlessly he disarms those who try to pull him in. They might bait him with insults, challenges, or attempts to undermine his authority, expecting a reaction. But the Sigma doesn't bite. He knows that reacting only gives them power, and power is something he doesn't hand over easily. His calm indifference often leaves manipulators frustrated, unable to figure out why their tactics aren't working. This refusal to play doesn't come from weakness, it comes from strength. The Sigma doesn't need to win these games because he's already in control of his own life. He measures success differently, not by how many people he can outsmart, but by how well he can stay true to his own values and priorities. While others are busy climbing ladders or pulling strings, he's focused on carving out his own path, free from the drama. What's fascinating is how this approach often gives him the upper hand without even trying. By refusing to engage, he becomes the one thing power players can't predict or influence. They're left scrambling while he walks away unbothered. For the Sigma, the real power isn't in winning the game. It's in not needing to play it at all. And in the end, that quiet detachment is what truly sets him apart. His observation is not passive, it is a strategic choice that preserves his energy and exposes the futility of the game itself. The Sigma male understands that by not moving a single piece, he reveals the entire board as a construct of ego, not a true measure of capability. This silent veto on participation is his ultimate power move, demonstrating that the most formidable position is one of complete and utter non-compliance with artificial hierarchies. Number 8. He deletes social media and doesn't announce it like a milestone. When a Sigma male decides to delete his social media, he doesn't make a big announcement about it. There's no taking a break post, no dramatic farewell message, and no countdown to his exit. One day he's there, the next he's gone, and he couldn't care less about how anyone feels about it. For him, the act is simple. Social media no longer adds value to his life, so it's out. The decision to step away is rarely impulsive. A Sigma is highly self-aware. And when he notices that social media is draining his energy, wasting his time, or creating unnecessary noise, he acts decisively. He doesn't linger or wrestle with FOMO, fear of missing out. He recognizes that most of what happens online is a performance, a stage where people showcase curated versions of their lives, and he has no desire to participate. The beauty of his approach is its quiet finality. While others may agonize over how their absence will be perceived, the Sigma feels no need to explain himself. He knows that if people truly value him, they'll reach out directly. His world doesn't revolve around likes, follows, or algorithms, and stepping away isn't some bold statement, it's simply a return to what matters. What's interesting is how his absence often leaves a bigger impression than his presence ever did. People notice when someone like him, reserved yet intriguing, disappears without warning. But the Sigma doesn't delete social media to make waves. He does it to reclaim his focus and peace. While others are scrolling through endless feeds, he's living his life on his own terms, offline and unbothered. It's not rebellion, it's clarity. And that's what makes his move so powerful. This silent exit is the ultimate act of digital sovereignty. For the Sigma male, social media is a marketplace of validation he has no interest in. By vanishing without a trace, he severs the digital tether that binds so many to the opinions of the crowd. His real life is not a content farm, and his peace is not a metric to be measured in engagement. This quiet reclamation of his attention is a return to a more substantive reality, one that exists beyond the screen. Number 9. He walks away from success if it compromises his core values. A Sigma male's relationship with success is different from most people's. He doesn't chase after it like a hungry dog, and he's not willing to compromise his values just to grab it. If success requires him to sacrifice what he believes in, he'll walk away without a second thought. To him, success isn't about accumulation, status, or power. It's about alignment with his principles. If the path to success feels inauthentic or forced, he won't hesitate to turn in the other direction. What makes this so striking is how rare it is. In a world where many people will bend their morals, compromise their integrity, or abandon their beliefs just to climb the ladder, the Sigma's ability to walk away from temptation is a quiet but powerful rebellion. He's not motivated by fame or wealth. He's motivated by peace, autonomy, and living a life that feels true to him. This isn't about being anti-success. It's about rejecting the kind of success that requires him to lose himself. A Sigma will turn down business deals, lucrative opportunities, or prestigious positions if they come with strings attached that would cause him to compromise his values. It's not a sacrifice for him. It's simply non-negotiable. What's fascinating is that the Sigma male's refusal to compromise often makes him more successful in the long run. He doesn't burn out chasing hollow goals, and he doesn't waste time pretending to be something he's not. Because of his unshakable integrity, when he does pursue something, it's aligned with who he is, and that authenticity often leads to even greater success. For the Sigma, true success isn't about winning at all costs. It's about maintaining peace, keeping his integrity intact, and doing things on his terms. And that's the kind of success that's hard to fake. This unwavering commitment to his code is what defines the Sigma's legacy. He understands that a success built on the rubble of his principles is a hollow victory, a gilded cage that would imprison his spirit. By walking away, he isn't losing an opportunity. He is investing in the one asset that truly matters, his unbreachable self-respect. This creates a foundation for a success that is not only sustainable, but deeply personal and fulfilling. Number 10. He redefines success by building a legacy of quiet freedom. In a world shouting from rooftops about their achievements, the Sigma male measures his success by the silence he owns. He isn't building a resume for the world to applaud. He's constructing a life of profound personal freedom. His empire isn't made of brick and mortar, but of uninterrupted time, unimpeded choices, and an untroubled mind. For him, the ultimate luxury is not a sports car, but the ability to drive his own destiny on his own roads, with no one in the passenger seat giving directions. This pursuit of freedom is his true life's work. He invests in skills that grant him autonomy, cultivates resources that buy him time, and severs obligations that chain him to a path not of his choosing. While others chase trophies that gather dust, he collects experiences that grant him peace. His wealth is measured in the mornings he can wake without an alarm, the afternoons he can spend in deep thought, and the nights he can rest without the anxiety of a crowded inbox or a crowded social calendar. What makes this so inspirational is its radical accessibility. The Sigma male proves that you don't have to win the rat race to be successful. You can simply refuse to be a rat. His legacy is not a name on a building, but the unshakable feeling of integrity in his soul. He demonstrates that the most powerful thing you can build is a life where your time, your energy, and your peace are non-negotiable currencies. He becomes a quiet inspiration not by what he preaches, but by what he embodies. His very existence is a testament to a different way of being, one where you are the author, the main character, and the satisfied reader of your own story. The Sigma doesn't just walk away from what doesn't serve him. He walks purposefully toward a horizon he defined for himself. And in that relentless, quiet stride, he redefines what it means to truly win at life. Number 11. He masters the art of listening, becoming a vault of wisdom. In an era of compulsive talking and reactive opinions, the Sigma male wields a superpower so rare it's almost revolutionary. He listens, not just to respond, but to truly understand. He absorbs the world, the subtle inflections in a voice, the unspoken truths in a pause, the hidden patterns in the chaos. While others are busy broadcasting their own noise, he is tuned to a different frequency, collecting data, insights, and a profound understanding of human nature that others completely miss. This makes him a vault of wisdom. People instinctively feel they can confide in him, not because he offers effusive sympathy, but because he offers unshakable silence and unflinching calm. He doesn't interrupt, doesn't judge, and doesn't rush to fill the quiet with empty platitudes. In his presence, people hear themselves think, and in that space, they often find their own answers. His value isn't in the advice he gives, but in the sacred space he holds. What makes this so powerful is that his silence is not passive, it is intensely active. He is processing, analyzing, and learning while others are simply waiting for their turn to speak. This allows him to see the root of problems while everyone else is distracted by the leaves. His subsequent actions, when he chooses to take them, are therefore precise, impactful, and often startling in their clarity. The Sigma male proves that the most influential person in the room is often the one who says the least. He doesn't need to lead the conversation to lead the outcome. By mastering the art of listening, he gains an unparalleled understanding of the battlefield without ever having to fire a shot. In a deafening world, his quiet attention becomes his most formidable strength, allowing him to navigate life with a map that others don't even know exists. Number 12. He prioritizes peace over connections because solitude isn't lonely. A Sigma male prioritizes peace over connections, and that simple yet profound truth shapes his entire approach to life. While most people chase relationships, friendships, and social validation like it's a race, the Sigma understands that true peace comes from within, not from external approval. For him, the quality of his inner peace is far more important than the quantity of his connections. If a relationship, no matter how close or valuable it seems, disturbs his peace, he will walk away without hesitation. This mindset can be baffling to those who don't operate the same way. In a world that often defines success by how many people you know or how popular you are, The Sigma's indifference to social dynamics is striking. He doesn't need constant interaction or a full calendar to feel validated. Instead, he values solitude, introspection, and quiet moments that allow him to recharge and maintain clarity. What makes this approach so powerful is the freedom it grants him. While others are constantly navigating the complexities of social obligations and the emotional weight of unstable relationships, the Sigma stays grounded in his peace. He doesn't play the game of trying to fit in or juggling multiple relationships to avoid feeling lonely. If a connection feels draining or shallow, he simply lets it go. It's not about being antisocial or disconnected. It's about knowing that peace is the foundation of everything else in life. A Sigma knows that when you protect your peace, everything falls into place. He'd rather have a handful of meaningful, authentic connections than a crowd of superficial ones. For him, the key to a rich, fulfilling life is not how many people are in it, but how much tranquility he can hold in his heart. In a world obsessed with validation, noise, and constant hustle, the Sigma male stands as a quiet anomaly, a force of nature who moves through life on his own terms. He doesn't need the spotlight, the applause, or the approval of others to feel whole. His power lies not in seeking attention, but in choosing where to direct his energy, what to engage with, and most importantly, when to walk away. His decisions are guided by a fierce sense of self-respect and clarity, allowing him to carve out a life that is authentic, intentional, and untethered by the expectations of society. What makes the Sigma male truly exceptional isn't his refusal to play the game. It's his ability to recognize that the game isn't worth playing in the first place. While others waste energy chasing success, climbing social ladders, and contorting themselves to fit in, the Sigma quietly thrives in his own space, free from the need to prove anything to anyone. His strength comes from his unshakable independence, his unwillingness to compromise his peace, and his quiet confidence that doesn't need to be flaunted. This profound prioritization of peace transforms his solitude from a state of being alone into a state of wholeness. For the Sigma male, solitude is not an absence of company, but a presence of self. It is in these quiet spaces that he forges his strongest connection, the one with his own mind and purpose. This self-containment makes him a fortress, impervious to the social storms that drain others, and allows him to engage with the world from a place of abundance, not need. And so the chaos continues. The social media feeds refresh, the power games play on, the crowds chase the next fleeting trend. But you now know the secret. You've seen the blueprint. The Sigma male doesn't just walk away from the noise. He builds a fortress of silence around his soul. He has shown us that the ultimate power isn't in controlling others, but in mastering the self. It's in the calm decision to leave a room where respect is absent. It's in the simple, unadorned no that protects his time. It's in the quiet satisfaction of an achievement that no one else needs to validate. This is not a path of isolation, but of profound selection. It's about understanding that your peace is the most valuable currency you will ever possess, and it is non-negotiable. The Sigma's life is a testament to one undeniable truth, that the most compelling statement you can make is not with a roar, but with a purposeful and serene silence. He doesn't fight the current. He simply builds his own boat and sails in a different direction. And as the world shouts, he thrives in the quiet understanding that he was never meant to be a player in their game, but the master of his own. So the question now isn't about what you've learned about the Sigma male. The real question is, what have you learned about yourself? Are you ready to audit your own life? To identify the drains on your energy, the compromises on your values, the spaces where your peace is being sacrificed? The door to that quieter, more powerful way of being is not locked. It doesn't require a grand announcement. It simply requires a choice. A choice to prioritize your peace, to enforce your boundaries, and to walk your own path, unbothered. The Sigma doesn't need your approval, but perhaps his example can inspire your own rebellion, your own quiet revolution. Now, the silence is yours. What will you build within it? If you've resonated with the Sigma mindset and found yourself captivated by the power of living life on your own terms, then don't miss out. Subscribe to the channel. Join a community that values self-respect, authenticity, and the freedom to walk your own path. With fresh insights, real talk, and a deeper dive into the mindset of those who truly live unapologetically, this is the place to be. Hit that subscribe button and let's continue exploring what it means to live boldly, confidently, and entirely on your own terms. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Thank you for watching.